Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Alan with a skinny coffee break the fat morning. I'm just finishing up my hair real quick, talking today about thinning hair and dieting, and actually growing hair while you're dieting. The point I'm going to make today is that we have been observing for so many years people who are, I'm getting pretty good at this mirror thing. I mean, at not having to have a mirror, I can do this on camera. Ta-da! Using just a little spotlight shine to finish it off. And so what we've been observing for all these years is people who diet seem to have thinning hair, or their hair doesn't grow as quickly, or it gets this funny ridge in it. You know where else you can notice this is in people's nails. I know I would do that, especially back a couple years ago when we were overeating, we were starving ourselves because we had to go to film all the time, to camera all the time, so we had to get thin. So we would do extremes, and those extremes led to these crazy ridges that were in my fingernails, and then also my hair was suffering as well. It wasn't as noticeable because I used the product, but we noticed it in several other people. In fact, we had one person who really, it was like this, it was dry scalp, and flaky, not flaky, powdery. It had like this powdery exfoliation process going on. It wasn't dandruff, it was just this process. And she later let us know that she was starving herself, so to speak. Every other day she was eating a very, very extreme diet so she could drop the pounds as quickly as she possibly could. Cost her hair for a long time, because remember, you only grow about 6 to 7 inches of hair per year. And so if you sabotage it, she did in the spring, it was bad for the next, well, quite a long time, until it started thickening back up. We got her on the Grow Out shampoo, talked her out of dieting so extremely, and that's what today is about. Is there's nothing that has to be extreme. In fact, the more extreme it is, the more likely you're going to fail in the future. And I hate to say that, kind of like a bad program, but like a bad subconscious programming, but think about it. You have to make the adjustments and then keep those adjustments working. I'm reminding myself of a friend who said, I don't go on a diet, I just start eating like I did when I was at my ideal weight. That's pretty profound. It sounds very simple, but it's a big deal, you know. And I said, well, what was that like? He said, oh, I would only have 2 pieces of pizza. Now I have 3 pieces of pizza. No wonder I'm this big. So I'm just going to cut back to 2 pieces of pizza like I did when I was back at my fighting weight. So I thought it was really, really, really great. So we incorporated that into our thinking, and it's been great. The typical thing that I do from now till the beginning of the year is I will gain about 12 to 14 pounds during the holidays. Consistently, it's like the predictable future. It's just going to happen. And then January is that nice depressing moment where I say, oh, I've gained 12 pounds. And now I've got to lose it. And it's like, so this year I have a prediction that that's not going to happen, because I'm reading somebody's comment here, Sandra. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm having dessert too, and noticing that I'm getting distracted by your comments. Yeah, I'm not gaining, I'm losing, and I'm having desserts now. I'm not having tons of desserts because I don't even really want the desserts. The desserts aren't talking back to me the next day like they used to. I used to always have like a cheat day, and then the next day the voices in my head were like, well, you cheated yesterday. It wouldn't hurt to have the leftover piece of pie that's left over, if there really was, which was kind of a joke. It means I had to go get another pie. But so anyway, it's about doing small actions each and every day consistently so that it becomes your regular way of being. Most people, when they hit that target weight, they go, oh, well, now I'm done. I don't have to diet so hard. Well, you never have to diet if you're simply adjusting your food along the way, or bridging the gap, as this coffee does. So anyway, I wanted to tell you about, I really don't even talk about the coffee itself, because you always see me having my creamer break. what I love about this is it's bodybuilders talk about stacking, where they stack certain nutrients so that they can build muscle fastest and do it as healthy as possible, hopefully. But it's a perfect stacking process. What that means is a certain protocol or a certain order of nutrients in certain ratios that cause the results that you're looking for. And everybody's always looking for a magic bullet. Well, as I said in the show earlier, 20% of the people will usually respond to a particular ingredient or a particular nutrient because about 20% of the population is deficient in that thing. Well, that's what's so beautiful about this. I'm counting here. I'm not going to say the words because they're just too big other than dark roast coffee. 2 amino, whatever it is. Cheryl could tell you volumes about what actually that is from a food item. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different nutrients in this thing. So, and it tastes great. So it's 11 different nutrients that if one would work for 20% of the population, we've got 11 of them in here. So I don't do the math on that, but you can imagine, you get what I'm saying, is you have to have that full array so that it really bridges the gap between the sugars and your metabolism. So when you are doing things like this, I'm scrolling back to Sandra. All she does is have a Valentis drink a day. I think she told me that she doesn't even always drink the coffee. It's one of the others, like Trim. Is that what it's called? Trim or Slim? Trim. Cocoa. The energy drink. I have a friend in New York who just used the immune booster until she saw her doctor. And she lost, I think, 3 or 4 pounds in the first 9 days or something like that. So it's ridiculous. Hey, Carmen. 11 pounds. I love it. Oh, you just added it to your exercise diet and so on and so forth. That's awesome. That is, you know, it's easy for guys to lose weight, they say, and I think it's almost across the board a belief, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Nevertheless, for women to get these kinds of extraordinary results, I think, Carmen, you're like on, if you're still there, how many weeks has it been you've been using? That's extraordinary. So we're not about fast results. This is not a Tony Robbins organization. This is not your hypnosis organization. This is what we do. What Cheryl and I have been crafting or observing and documenting and proving for ourselves and for others is how making small adjustments on a consistent basis and staying riveted to those changes and adjusting as time goes on, we get slow results. We finally realized, like I said, we would crash diet before the photo shoots, we would crash diet before the shows, we'd crash diet before we went to Hollywood. It was always extreme. And what we found is extreme just doesn't always work. So if you can make those adjustments, and that's what we do in our 90-day program, is help you adjust everything that you do, every conversation that you have. We get an inventory of all those things, and we look to see how could you arrange those conversations or eliminate some of those conversations and put in new conversations, new movements, new practices that you can stay consistent with. It's not that you can, and we fall off all the time, fall off the supposed wagon. Hi, Lisa. Fall off the wagon. We just jump back on as quickly as we can. And what I've noticed, this was the big change that happened for me when I started using this coffee, is I know how much I eat. So I always cook that amount. And I remember a third into the food going, I'm full. And I'd keep eating anyway. And I'd keep eating anyway because I just didn't want to let go of that pleasure that I get from eating. And so now it's gotten to a point where it's like, this is so boring eating the rest of this. Sorry, it's going to have to go to the recycle bin because it ain't going through this recycling process over here. So it was ruined the moment I cooked it. So it's just going to have to go into the compost and be good to be recycled into an apple or a pear or whatever I've got growing in the backyard. So so there we have it. So those are the things I wanted to talk about. And then I also wanted to kind of disclaim something because I've been disgruntled for a long time when I have so many trainers and so many, we see it all the time, books and tapes and speakers and all who always bring up those who've really, really made it, those who've really done huge things, and oh, you've got to believe, and you've got to be, you know, and then there's Richard Branson, and then there's Oprah, and then there's, oh, this is what so-and-so said, and so-and-so said, and, you know, it's all well and good. It's like the model on the front of a magazine. It's a nice place to look and to aim, yet it's so disgruntling to know that, like where I got disgruntled and upset was, yeah, but I just have to make the mortgage, or I just have to make the payment, or I just have to make enough money to cover the expenses. Once I get there, then it's time to go to the next level if I can make that consistent. But being reminded that I wasn't the Oprah, or I wasn't the Richard Branson at this point, or I wasn't at that level at this point, almost disserved me. Is that a word? I felt like it was a disservice there. I don't know if that, I used it right the first time, but that kind of made it okay. That's what I love about what we've discovered along the way. Cheryl and I compare ourselves to ourselves, and we have a way to do that, and a consistent way to do that, so that when we do see someone's post on Facebook who's doing extraordinarily, like crazy, outrageous, you know, like, oh, I just made $50,000 in an hour, or I just made $500,000 in this past month. That's well and good, and I'm happy for them. Don't get me wrong. It leaves me feeling like I don't know what I'm doing. What do you mean? I still have to do the day-to-day grind. I still have to do like everybody else. And how come I didn't get lucky like that? Or and that whole conversation and thinking pattern is something we have to inventory. That's part of our inventories. We inventory that, and we let it go. And then we look back at our inventory and we go, wow, I've done really great things since that day. Oh, look at this effect that's happened ever since. So very, very excited for that. I had a call yesterday that was very interesting to me as well. It was about thinning hair. And it just solidified everything that we know about extremes. And she told me how extremely bad her hair was, and I just started poking in and asking questions. And oh, by the way, you know, I'm not a doctor, you know, I'm not your physician, you know, I'm not medically trained, you know, I'm not all that stuff. So this is in no way, shape, or form any advice to anybody. Check with your doctor, which is exactly what I said to her. May I ask you a few questions about your diet? Ask her a few questions about that. She, of course, went on loudspeaker and told me every bit of it. She had lost 20 pounds since May, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hi, Lisa. So anyway, I walked with her, oh, Carmen, 6 weeks. 6 weeks, 11 pounds. That is amazing. And no suffering, no dieting. I love it. No changes. So back to the woman who told me about her diet, and then she told me about her stress levels, and then she told me about her itchiness. And it's classic. I've seen this. We've seen this so many times in the salon in the years past. We didn't really know what to do back then. Now we do know what to do. It is, it's our observation and our seeing the reverse effect of that in other people. We put her on a new program to clean up her diet in a whole new way. She's going back to her doctor to adjust a few things out of her own want when she heard what I had to say. And it just makes us feel so much better to know that we can help people no matter where they are. And we know her tangling is going to be over with very soon. We know her, we're certain that she's going to have new fresh hairs growing in. We know this, we've seen this, we're excited. So she's promised to be in touch with us over the next couple of months on a regular basis to let us know how it's going. So we will keep you posted on that. And should you have any questions about those kinds of things, messenger me privately. So, and as you notice, I don't say people's names when it comes to this because I don't think it's anyone else's business except yours and mine if you want me to work with you on that. And so we'll keep your anonymity. Just don't blow your anonymity on the comment side at a later date, unless you are okay with that. We'd love it. So anyway, consistent, effective actions will save your day, will save your life, will give you the life you love. It is when you realize, and we've had a lot of people realizing this week in our program that a lot of the things that they have to do are making them upset because they have to do them, because the life they built requires that they do them, and they're starting to let go of some of them. They're starting to giggle with us. They're starting to laugh. We're putting in new practices to take up that time, because it's really what happens is when you have free time, you figure out either I'm going to a movie, or read a book, or you get into mischief of some sort. What Cheryl and I do is we look to see what was the thing that we really wanted. So we have we're inventing or making obvious a new question. If I could have that thing today, what would it be? And we dwell in that on a daily basis and actually inventory it. So when you do that, what starts to happen is you begin to think differently, and you begin to think like those obsessed people. That's the one consistent thing that I know about the Richard Bransons, the Oprahs, the Mark Zuckerbergs, is they have an obsession. People call it an obsession like it's a bad thing. It's a really great thing. They're really interested in that thing and that thing alone. So they give all their thinking time to that. Anything that's not in alignment with that, they hire someone to do that for them, or they just don't get it done and they let it fall by the wayside. So of course they've got plenty of resources to do that because they've got plenty of money. For those of you who don't have the plenty of money yet and you want to get to a level of plenty of money to do that, then that's where we're going to make a big difference with you. So anyway, I could blah, blah, blah all day. Everybody, thank you for being on the show today. I hope you're enjoying it. Obviously, so many of you are stalkers. Please just put a little emoji in the comment section. I know one day you're going to want to comment for real. It's so great to see so many of you coming to the coffee break. I haven't seen so many of you in so long. I'm glad to catch up this way. I want to find out more about you, of course. So please, if you ever have a chance, please in the message or in the comments, let me know how you're doing. I don't have time to go to everybody's Facebook page and stalk you like I did. So please make yourself available to me by saying something. Send pictures of your children, your cats, your favorite movie stars, whatever, and all that good stuff. Remember to subscribe to YouTube at Belegenza, Belegenza, and Alan, which you can find all of these videos documented, cataloged there by subject. You can also find out when, I know he said something about, oh, there it is. You'll be able to read it in the comment section or the description. If you don't know which one it is, let us know. We've been cataloging these so that we'll be able to find it for you easily. Always a pleasure to hear from you. I hope you had a great Halloween. The last thing is our parents. Remember yesterday the roach that was on my cup? My Halloween gift to my parents from Cheryl and me was a bag of those. So they had 100 or so of these that they put out on the porch. And Cheryl, what was that comment that first kid said? Oh, hang on. I mean, these kids were like on a mission for candy. Excuse me.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Are those real?
Are those real roaches?
Do you have any candy?
Do you have any candy?
If so, we'll come back.
If so, we'll come back. So they weren't bothered by the roaches really, other than it was kind of like a little barrier. So these plastic roaches were a riot. I cleaned all of them up around here yesterday because they gross me out too. And I could hardly, I mean, I even went around with a napkin to pick them up because I didn't want to touch them. They were so gross. So anyway, yesterday on the show, when I had it on the cup, I was really grossed out too. So if anybody was too freaked out, my apologies. And there was your trick for all the other treats you got. I'm sure you got lots of treats. And if you didn't, you deserve them. So go out and get some treats today. All right, well, there we have it. YouTube, like this page. Go to our Belegenza Facebook page. Like us there. We've got lots of great stuff going on right now. I wish we could tell you about all of it. Of course, maybe I should have maybe I should have my afternoon tea with Cece, where we have to stop in the midday and kind of treat ourselves to get ourselves back on track. Maybe we'll start that very soon. In the meantime, have a great day. Enjoy your coffee. Anybody want one of these cups? If you do, be sure to message me. First person to message me today will get one of these cups sent right to you. You have to message me your address, and we won't publish it or put it on a bathroom wall or anything like that. Have a great day, and thanks for joining Alan on his skinny coffee break, The Fat.
Wow. That's hilarious.
Thank you.
The little kid?